Hello everybody, my name is storyteller Tim Lowry and I am here at Whitesville Elementary School visiting in not first grade, these kids have grown since I saw them last, visiting in second grade. A round of applause for second grade, very good. And they're going to provide sound effects and I'm going to tell you an ancient story from the Maidu people of Northern California. As you well know, I am doing a story every day on my YouTube channel all through the month of May to get you through to the end of the school year. So here we go. First, let's begin with a rainstorm. A little bit of wind comes blowing in. And then after the wind, we hear the rain coming down on the roof. Now the rain gets a little louder and we hear it like this. Then it gets even louder on the roof like this. And now we hear a little bit of thunder. A little more thunder. Then it slacks off. So there's nothing left but wind. And then we hear the birds sing. A long time ago, the Maidu people of Northern California say everyone had fire and life was good. You could cook over your fire, stay warm by the fire. But then thunder stole the fire. He just swooped by and grabbed it all up. Give me a big thunder. Thunder thought if the people have no fire, they cannot stay warm, they cannot cook their food, they would starve to death, and then he would be most powerful over the whole earth. But the people managed to live without a fire. In those days, even the animal people had fire, and all the animals were brothers. They lived in one great big round house called a wigwam. Now, since they had no fire for staying warm, the two lizard brothers would climb on top of the roof and lay in the rays of the early morning sun to warm their skin. And one day, the first lizard said to the second, "Look over there." "What?" "You don't see it?" "See what?" "Smoke!" You could see smoke rising up through the trees of the forest. Ah, now they knew where thunder had taken their fire. The chief of the animal people said they would all trudge through the forest and they would take back the fire because it rightfully belonged to them. When they got to the other side of the forest, they saw Thunder's wigwam house. It was as big as a whole mountain. You could see smoke coming up out of the hole at the top of the roof, and on the inside, you could hear Thunder roaring and sighing. Can you all do that? Roaring and sighing. Again, roaring and sighing. Sound asleep. Now, the animal people had to decide who was going to go and get the fire. They couldn't decide until finally a little gray mouse said that he would go. But he didn't run through the front door of the wigwam. No, Thunder might see him. So he ran around to the back and he chewed a hole. Can you make chewing sounds? Crawled right through the hole he had chewed. There was Thunder on his mat, roaring and sighing. And sleeping next to Thunder was his 5 daughters. So the mouse ran around to where the girls were sleeping and he chewed on their skirt strings. Can you make chewing sounds? That way, if the girls woke up and they tried to chase him, their skirts would fall off. Their clothes would fall off. They'd have to sit down and tie them on again, and it would give the mouse time to run away. He grabbed some fire, he ran right through the hole he had chewed, and he gave fire to all of his friends. He gave some fire to the dog. What's the dog say? He gave some fire to the dog. The dog carried the fire up in his ears. That's why dogs have pink in the inside of their ears. They carried fire there once, and it burned it a little bit. Oh, and he gave some fire to the deer. The deer carried the fire on the back of his leg. That's why deer have a little red hair on the back of their leg. They carried fire there once, and it scorched it some. Oh, and he gave some fire to the lizard brothers. They swallowed the fire and held it in their throat. That's why those really old lizards have that big red sack at their throat. That's where they carry their hot coals. But he didn't give any fire to the skunk. No. The skunk said, too dangerous. He didn't want to touch fire. He might get burned. Then they all started for home. When Thunder woke up, he yelled out, "What about my fire?" You all could yell that. "What about my fire?" And when he yelled like that, his daughters jumped up to chase the animal people, but when they jumped up, their clothes had been chewed on and their clothes fell off. Oh, I think they probably screamed. They had to sit down and tie their clothes on again while Thunder was rumbling and grumbling and complaining. Finally, they ran after the animal people and they tried everything they could think of to put out their fire. The first girl brought wind, and the wind blew against the animal people and it caused smoke to go in their eyes. Another girl brought rain, and the raindrops pelted the animal's skin and stung their faces. Another girl brought harder rain. It was pouring down, and then Thunder broke with a great storm. He was crashing and the lightning was flying around, but Skunk was standing in the back of the line, and Skunk did what skunks do. Psst! Whoa! Oh, ew, that smelled terrible. Ew. Thunder and his 5 daughters flew up into the sky, and then the skunk told them, "That's what you get. You come down here and you try to touch our fire, and psst, I will spray you." So Thunder and his 5 daughters won't come down out of the sky. Oh, no, 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 no. They live high above the clouds. And some days you hear Thunder rumbling and grumbling and complaining, trying to throw down wind and rain, trying to put out our fire, but he's never been able to do it. And that is the end of that. Let's end with a big thunder crash and pouring rain. 1, 2, ready, go.